In many cultures, shaking hands, hugs and kisses are an expression of civility and favor. However, the pandemic coronavirus can change these traditions forever. It is hard to count how many times a week we touched each other for a pandemic COVID-19. The quarantine was for many people the longest period of life, during which they had no physical contact with another person. Social distance, which we still have to adhere to, seems as extraordinary, but temporary. However, after the return to normal life, our communication, it seems, will never be the same as it was before. Hugs, kisses on the cheek, shaking hands, a pat on the shoulder and holding the elbow can become unacceptable, and all we know about the world, full of physical contact, may forever change. These habits come from our distant ancestors, the primates. Stroking each other's hairy backs, they felt warm and calm, as pleasant physical touch starts in the brain endorphins. However, we can already see how it will look in our new socially disconnected world. Television shows, in which presenters and participants sit far from each other, strengthen in our minds the importance and acceptability of distance between people. Conversely, when we watch programs or movies that are created for a pandemic, scenes of crowds in bars, nightclubs, or shopping centers make us feel uncomfortable. And it is a sign that our brain is already configured to more distant social practices. Similar sentiments in other places on the planet. 60% of Australians and Americans, 70% of Canadians, half of the French and the Brazilians and 40% of Chinese do not want to get out of quarantine until the risk is still present. However, actually, such things have been in our history. Trying to contain the spread of the plague in England of the 15th century, King Henry VI forbade his subjects to kiss. For example, huge and stigma still surrounds people with HIV-positive status. A lot of people are afraid to shake hands with a person with HIV, despite the well-known fact that the infection is not transmitted in this way. It seems that the media prematurely say goodbye to the handshake. This habit is so deeply rooted in us that people will be very hard not to reach out, adds the specialist in evolutionary psychology. Maybe a kiss, hug, hand support on the shoulders probably, will gain more importance as we now have to think twice before doing so. Hughes suggests that our social groups are divided into an inner circle of people whom we can and want to touch it, and the outer circle of those with whom we will avoid physical contact. This is laughter, singing, dancing, storytelling, religious rituals, says expert on evolutionary psychology. We use in everyday social interaction.